chairman just said, we had a, I was on the same committee, we had a consultant that was there to give us guidance on the document that we were creating. And one of the fundamental items in the ordinance was about road classifications. And the road classifications were to be made solely based on technical observation, what the road was being used as. It was not a political assignment of road classifications. It wasn't a voting contest or what everybody on that road felt like it ought to be. It really had nothing but technical aspects. And the consultant was very, very adamant that if we did not base our road classifications on technical specifications or classification, then the whole process we were doing was shaky, and it wasn't gonna work at all. It would tear down the whole process. So that was something we really worked on. We worked on a lot at the end of the committee as a whole. And so we worked on it. As the chairman said, there was some back and forth, and it was told us that the planning commission was gonna have a shot at it, and he was gonna make sure that they would undo some of the classifications in his area. And so when it got to the planning commission, not only, it wasn't that there was just a vote taken and he voted a certain way. There was a lot of the public brought in, and they were told that the county council was gonna undo everything the planning commission did. Because we were gonna obviously pass it or not pass it when it came to us. And so at that point, we had people that came to council and writing letters and making phone calls saying, you're gonna undo everything that the planning commission did. Well, they dealt with it for about 30 minutes one night, when the committee dealt with it for years. And so, because we knew about the technical aspects of the road classifications, that going back to the road classifications was the only way to do it correctly. And so we did that, but we took we had to go back to the planning commission, and then back and forth, so it probably cost us 2 or 3 months worth of work. And for that reason, not because of a voting record or being independent or whatever, I think that if we're gonna have that as our arm of the planning commission, then that's probably not something I would wish to have on a planning commission. The commission here can decide whatever, but that's gonna be my vote.
You said it costs, I know we've had delays with other things, but it cost us literally money in terms of time.
Well, we had to rewrite. I'm not saying that, he personally caused all that, but it was certainly an effort to make sure that he had legitimate beliefs, and don't disparage anybody for that. But for the whole thing, how it played out, it's not something that I would like to see from our planning commission.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, this is my appointment, for my area. The, majority of the area performance planning meetings I did not attend. However, I do believe Mr. Robichaud did attend the majority of those as a non-voting member of the area performance planning, as well as once he did receive clarification from the area performance plan, it went on to the planning commission. In the meantime, the chairman that served over the area performance planning committee was also the same person that served over the planning commission. It's my understanding that from various discussions that Mr. Robichaud brought various insights that were not necessarily the majority of other insights that set on the planning commission. It's my understanding that he brought community involvement to the planning commission. I don't disparage anybody from bringing conversation, even if it tends to be more conversational than some people want at times. The planning commission meetings are a public meeting, and if he feels that the public should know about what's going on, I don't despair that. Section 629-350-C of the South Carolina Code says that in the appointment of planning commission members, the appointing authority shall consider their professional expertise, knowledge of the community, and concern for the future welfare of the total community and its citizens. Members shall represent a broad cross-section of the interests and concerns within the jurisdiction. This district that I represent goes from Greer to Packwood, from Cross Anchor, Union County line, all the way back to Roebuck. The area of the area performance planning only goes from 85 to 221, Greenville County line back to 290. Mr. Robichaud, while sitting on that committee, also represents the rest of my council district that, for the majority part, still is primary rural and primary agricultural, and is struggling with what is coming to Spartanburg County. I don't believe that anybody is opposed to what is coming to Spartanburg County. However, they're opposed to what, in the order in which things may happen. We have a lot of very small roads. Those are a lot of the roads that were in discussion in the Area Performance Planning Advisory Committee. Early on, those roads were listed and had been listed, and the plan had been detailed out by our planning department that spent well over a year writing up the original drafts of the Area Performance Plan. Those road classifications were changed primarily because of, as we indulged into these documents, we realized that the area was gonna grow beyond what density was allowed by the current road classifications. Those road classifications were at that point changed to allow for sewer to come there, which is fine because higher density allows for less urban sprawl. But the original documents that came from the planning department to the Area Performance Planning Advisory Committee, those roads were all upgraded midstream of this entire process. And while that is fine, I don't fault anybody for bringing back to light some of the things that went on, as well as having a fruitful conversation. So therefore, I can't not reappoint somebody just because they want to have a meaningful conversation, and things may or may not get changed from one committee to the other. At the end of the day, we had the final say-so on what happened. That's checks and balances, and that's the way it works. So I move that we appoint Mr. Marshall.
You've already done that.
I just want to answer something that Councilman Farr. The road classifications did change midstream, but there's a real easy reason for that. We noticed that most of the roads, because we were going to have to classify each individual road. So when we first got it, they were all at the lowest level. But we found out that most roads were kind of in the middle. So what we did is we moved every road to the middle, and we took there's a lot less roads to move when we had to do it the second way, instead of moving them, going through each one and moving them all up. So we moved them all up to the middle, and then we started taking the ones that were lower down.